I think this challenge of misleading information and rumors and fake news will just grow, especially when you have crisis time, because the volume of people coming on the internet is just growing. Humans by nature love a rumor, love a gossip. The human nature is such that the more salacious it is, the more we are tempted to share with other people. And I think the social media doesn't help because it gives us, that opportunity to blast out a lot more things which are untrue.
Fake news has become very prevalent in society because there are motivations for those who are creating fake news. Some create fake news, spread fake news because of financial reasons. So if they create something that goes viral and people click on these and they are driven to these fake news websites, then those who create them get revenues from digital advertising. So that's financial motivation. Others are motivated by political or ideological considerations, and they exploit fake news to push for these particular thoughts, ideas, or particular people. The umbrella term is falsehoods, right? These are all referring to false information. And other scholars distinguish between misinformation and disinformation. So disinformation would refer to those that are intentionally produced to deceive others, while misinformation are false information, but they were not intentionally produced to deceive others. Fake news and other types of online falsehoods, they really represent a real threat. It's a real problem. It's a problem that affects all of us.
Sunday morning, about 11 o'clock, I was by the pool with my kids. I got a phone call from a colleague of mine saying, "Am I okay?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, she never phones me." I said, "I'm fine." She goes, "Because I'm really worried about you. Have you not seen all these threats?" I said, "What threats?" So she goes, "Oh my God, you're all over the internet." My cousin getting knocked off his bicycle by a truck, and then it got linked to me through social media. And so they did a search for that cyclist and then went online. My Facebook profile popped up and there's a picture of me with my cycling gear on. And so they put one and one together and decided it was me. And I said, well, it's not me, because I'd actually broken 4 ribs from a motorbike accident, and so I wasn't able to cycle. It started to snowball. My wife was getting really worried because some of the threats were quite real. They were trying to work out where I lived. They found out where, obviously it's not that difficult to find out where I worked. And then the threats started coming. People were saying some pretty nasty things about me. They found out the number plate on my motorbike and said, all right, we know the number plate, let's go and hunt him down and knock him off his bike to see how he feels. And then it got to the point when they said, oh, we know where his kids go to school. And at that point I said, that's it. We decided to take various actions.
During that particular time that we got viral, we were actually trying to get essentials for the elderly before the circuit breaker happens. So we actually seek approval from the manager for the charity work we are doing. We are trying to do something good for those in need, but then we were branded as hoarders. We were actually quite ready for that, but then it was not expected to come from a politician.
People at that point of time, they expressed that, oh, this family of 4, 7 trolleys, and unhappy about it. One of our male actually talked loudly and tried to explain that this is for charity and all that. But the other people are just very skeptical.
If you just put up a post with just the picture of the trolleys, it's still okay. But with my teammates, I mean like my team, Riani Face, actually she is the one who really affected by this. She personally messaged also Mr. Gomense, and after a few hours, he put up another post to apologize.
And it's quite unhealthy because now we Now the government actually encourage such a vigilantes mentality. They actually ask people to take photos and report each other, and it actually it will create a psyche that of distrust.
I think that we really should hold social media platforms accountable for what we're seeing now. They definitely, after several years of having a more hands-off approach to online falsehoods, they are now implementing interventions to control the spread of online falsehoods like fake news in their spaces. But I think that more can be done.
On 3rd April, there was a fake memo bearing the SGH logo circulating on social media and text messaging platforms that our PM is tested positive for COVID-19. So we sent out actively immediately upon news break to all our affected patients. But what happened when we found out was that there were fake SMS being done up and being circulated around. We took it very seriously and we immediately put a posting out to assure people that no phone numbers or financial info or medical records have been illegally accessed. We know that in today's environment, given the essence of social media, things can viralize really quickly like wildfire. Facebook is probably one of the more rampant one. WhatsApp for sure has been very fast in circulating. And in fact, a lot of messages are made known to us by someone whom we know who has received it very often.
It is a very big problem, especially with the COVID-19 situation. Now you can tell that so much more fake news has been spreading. From our research where we found that a lot of people claim that they know how to fact check, but actually when you ask them what is fact checking, they actually don't really know how to fact check. So that poses a problem, especially when they have the tendency to forward immediately when receiving a message.
In fact-checking, we're not really trained in verifying claims, right? But that responsibility is increasingly being on us as audiences because now we're more in control of our own information behavior.
But over time, we realize that as technology evolves, we as a government also have to change. And we realize that we need to be able to also provide, for example, information which is correct. So we created a website so that all the correct information that people are seeking is available on one website.
Based on our research, we see that fake news is a social problem. And the solution is also social. It means that no single individual or organization can solve the problem of fake news.
We have a project called Sure or Not that aims to curb the spread of fake news on WhatsApp. I learned about how big of a problem fake news is in Singapore and also around the world. Like going into it, we thought it was just like a fun topic, like, oh, my mom spreads fake news on WhatsApp. But when we dug deeper, we realized that the repercussions of fake news can really be so widespread. People in our age group are kind of more tech savvy and more fluent with technology, so we find it more easy to fact check on the go and like kind of have a certain healthy skepticism. But like for a lot of the older people who maybe did not grow up with the technology that we did, they have not developed this sense of healthy skepticism. But there's a big range of steps to do when you do fact checking. It can be like checking the URL, doing a reverse image search, asking experts on the topic, and etc. For example, doing a reverse image search, that's something that's more technologically advanced.
Just be very alert and vigilant because it can happen to us anytime. Because we really cannot assume that it is fake. To start off, I need to verify that indeed the authenticity is not there before I go out and put that person, or put that news out.
It's just that we don't jump into conclusion too fast. We'll always have a reservation that maybe our information are not right, where you always find that what you believe may not be true.
So we have found from a few interviews and our research that many older adults use their gut feel to fact check, and they just like, oh, I think it's wrong, then like they'll be like, okay, it's wrong. But like they wouldn't actually go through the list of steps to make sure that something is right or wrong. So I think the general consensus is that when they find out that they are spreading something, they are normally very apologetic or very embarrassed, very like sad that they have been spreading this. So obviously they don't spread fake news out of malicious intent. They are actually doing it out of like an altruistic intention. They want to help people around them. So when you actually call them out and like they actually learn from it and they feel that they should change their behaviors after that.
It was a wake-up call for me because it felt very disappointing amongst Singaporeans, and I had a lot of Singaporeans apologise to me. I'm very sorry for these Singaporeans. I had a few strangers come up to me to apologise, and stuff like that. And I said, it's very nice of you, but I'm fine. If it was a vigilante thing or if it was something like that, what did you want to get out of it? I don't think it's easy to control a person's opinion because they'll just say it's just my opinion, and I'm not allowed to have an opinion.
At the interface between technology and humanity. I think that interface between technology and humanity is where the problem lies, is where the challenges are. How do you deal with those challenges? You have to understand that dynamic between technology and humanity. If we understand that dynamic, I am a firm believer that we have a good chance to integrate technology and humanity in a win-win situation.
And if we don't do anything, the problem will persist. So tackling online falsehoods is as simple as having this meaningful dialogues, conversations with our family, with our friends, right? If they share something questionable, it's not always because they believe in them. It's because they're not sure. They're hoping someone would vet it for them. I think it's important for us to equip ourselves and prepare ourselves for fake news becoming endemic in society.